On today's episode of Talking Business, we've got Pastor Jay and JoJo, as well as Nicole Kobsevich. Thank you. We couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, your setup looks way better than ours.
You're already a step ahead of us. Jealousy.
Well, and you're seeing us on a good day, right, Matt?
I don't know why JoJo doesn't put on makeup for me. Jeez, at least you have an attractive co-host. Look at mine.
He's a short guy.
JoJo.
See how he treats me?
Business what we were talking about, business ethics. The proper way to treat your staff.
Violence in the workplace.
So why don't we start with Pastor Jay? Why don't you tell us a little bit about how long you've been here at the Owego Naz and tell us what it's been like over the last several years. I think it was 5 years, but I'm not 100% sure. So
yeah, so we're in the year 5. August started year 5. So we've been here 4 full years. We've changed a lot. We came in the church. So people don't necessarily know this or need to know it, I guess. But if you think about it, you'll know it. There's 2 sides to the church, right? There's the side that we want to be the most prevalent, which is the spiritual, deepening, togetherness, community building side. And then there's the business side. Because whether we like it or not, the church requires you to have some sense of business, or you're not going to have lights, you're not going to have a parking lot, and you're going to get sued a lot because we live in that world where, not everybody has the best intentions. So there is a business aspect that goes into every church of operations. We like to call it here. We don't really call it business. We call it the operational side that keeps the lights on and toilets flushing and heat, those are all wonderful things.
Yeah.
So
quite necessary.
We have changed that drastically. It was very, I don't want to say small when we got here, but it was very kind of cozy. The church was down to about 100 to 120 people. So they were operating more like out of relationships, which are great, but relational leading is the lowest level of leadership. So when we came in, we started putting in some leadership structure. I'm a big leadership guy. I love the idea of it. I don't know if I'm great at it, but I like the idea of it.
JoJo.
He's good at it. He doesn't give himself enough credit.
No, I really enjoy, I'm not a traditional leader. I spent the last probably 10 years doing a lot of leadership development, finding what I like and what I don't like. I don't like when a church becomes corporate model. That for me does not work. So I have a very open door policy. I actually came in and got rid of a lot of policies, which I think blew everybody's mind. I scrapped all their vacation requests and time sheets and stuff like that and said, you want to build a team that doesn't need to be micromanaged, ideally, right? So you hire people that you see in them the qualities that you need in the position. So that was the first thing we did. That's why I grabbed JoJo right out of college. JoJo was, most churches don't hire right out of college. They want you to have some experience. Well, how are you going to get experience if you don't get hired, right? And JoJo kind of got thrust into, he got the fast forward version of life because I see in him a lot of potential. One, he has the understanding of how church works, and he gets it, and he knows that ministry it's not a job, it's a calling. If it's a job for you, you're never going to make it. So if you're out there and you're thinking, man, I want to go into ministry, it sounds like a cool job. No, it's horrible. It is a great calling, though. You have to know you're called to it because we don't work normal hours. We don't work normal shifts. They don't have to ask for a day off. Like if their work's done and they need to go be with their family's a priority for me. If they need to take care, if he just has a day where like his wife is having a bad day, stay home, take care of your wife. Because if you can't do that, you're not going to have a good ministry.
True.
And there are days when they need that flexibility. And that really comes down to, we've had some people come and go because we're a team and we require you to be part of the team. Like, the team has to be part of your mantra. Like, whether it's your job or not, whether it's your position or not, even if it's not your calling. If we can get people working 70% of the time and what they're called to, and 30% they just have to muck through, that's a pretty good job. I mean, most people in the world would be happy with that, I think, because most jobs you have in the secular world, you don't get that privilege.
I was going to say, it's like the other way around. It's that 30% that you want to do,
what you
and
love,
70%
right?
you don't want to do.
Yeah. So there's this fine line between, when you're in business, it's all about building relationship, right? But then in leadership, like Pastor Jay was saying, there's this, we can't have a relational leadership. So can you dive a little bit more into that and explain like some of the cons if you do have a business that's run based on relation?
Yeah, like I said, it's the lowest level of leadership. Like, most people possess the quality to build a relationship. But the problem is then, if people don't meet your expectations, you have this relationship built where you don't want to address that because you don't want to hurt the relationship. And the relationship becomes priority over the mission. And you can't be an effective relational leader. Mm-hmm. The lowest form of leadership is positional, right? I'm the boss. You have to follow me. Mm-hmm. And then the second lowest is relational. Hey, we're friends. Do this for me. Well, that's great until they don't do it, and then you're not friends anymore. So that puts a lot of stress on. So those two kinds of leadership don't typically turn into something that you want. Mm-hmm. You have to build leadership based on a common understanding, goals and objectives. And the church is the same, right? I struggle in the American church as a whole because our mission was laid out for us by Christ. Mm-hmm. It's not like we have to go searching for what should we call our organizational mission? Well, we know it. It's given to us in Matthew 28, right? Go ye into the world and make disciples, teaching them the things I taught you, and baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So right there, you've established, there's our goals and objectives for the year. We're going to go into the world, right? You can't sit in the church all day. You've got to go outside. You've got to go into all of the world, and you need to make disciples. And teach them the things that Christ taught us. So you have to be engaging people in a relationship and showing them how to go from where they are to where they can be with Christ. And then it's baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So leading them to live Christian lives. I think churches get so caught up in like, oh, we got to do this or we got to do that. That's your mission. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. And then how you do that is also laid out for you, teaching them the ways I taught you. So you have to model Christ. So for us, if I have an employee who's really modeling self-preservation or self-desire or will, I could just, and we've had great conversations. Like, I haven't ever had to let somebody go where it was really terrible. Mm-hmm. I just say, hey, I don't think the mission of the church is your primary mission, which is okay. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be for everyone. Mm-hmm. It's the primary mission of the church, though, and it has to stay the primary mission of the church. So I wish Jesus said, like, go ye and make beautiful gymnasiums, and great basketball courts, and
pickleball
courts, right? Yeah. All that's a bonus.
Hey, leave the pickleball courts out of this.
But so I've really tried to come in and I think leadership comes from maximizing a person's internal potential, right? Because most of us don't see in ourselves what a good leader sees in us. So we did a lot of position changes, and I'm constantly calling them to serve in their strengths and stretching them. And they go, I can't do it. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm.
Encouraging them.
Yeah, I think I try to be a good encourager.
I think you are. I think there's a lot of different things that Tiffany, me, or Aaron will look at each other and we're like, what is he thinking? And then 2 months down the road, we're like, that's what he was talking about. Like, we see it now. Like, we get it. We understand it, right? And I think you're an amazing leader. I don't think you give yourself enough credit. I've been in this church for 10, 11 years now. And we were able to see that culture shift when Pastor Jay first came in. And the changes that came from that have made the church what it is today. With God's intervention and God's leading in not just Pastor Jay's life, but in the staff's life, you've been able to see the fruit that's grown from it, right? So your leadership just continues to lead us, and I'm excited to keep going with it, right?
That's awesome. So, Pastor Jay, are you seeking mentors? Because like if you have to protect this boundary with your staff, right, so that we're not becoming relational and you're in more of the leadership role, who do you go to for mentorship? Because let's be real, I mean, there's times where I'm sure you need to seek guidance or wisdom or maybe vent even.
Yeah. There's, I do think I have learned to be a good leader. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not. I feel confident in my leadership abilities, but there's always somebody better. And there's always things that we all have blind spots. I was intentional to pursue a new pastor to work with us who we're just waiting a few months to get some paperwork done and things to work out the way they're supposed to. But he's opposite of me.
I heard he looks just like you.
Well, we look like we could be brothers, except for he's got red hair for some reason. 'Cause he's not one of the elect, I don't think. But just kidding.
Poor Matt over here.
It's more Auburn.
Yeah. I was just teasing Matt. You guys have shown to test higher.
Yes.
So aptitude is usually higher in a redhead, and just say you hang on to that.
I appreciate it.
What was I saying? Oh, so I actually try to surround myself with people who are, I mean, obviously as a leader, you want to put people around you that are like you, because then it's fun to be at work. But I balance that with people who aren't like me and will say the tough things to me.
Right.
And I have some great mentors. I have about 5 mentors that I call, monthly and just say, am I right? Am I wrong? Tell me I'm right. And they're like, no, you want me to tell you you're right. So no. And some of them are actually younger than me, which is really cool. I never got into that until probably about 5 to 7 years ago. I was in this leadership development course, and they're like, look at all your mentors. Are they all your age or older? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, mistake. So I actually have some younger mentors that keep me plugged in. One of them is what I call my token liberal friend, because I'm conservative by nature. So he helps me see the other side of the coin. And he laughs about it. And he's like, yeah, man, that's my job in your life, is to keep you seeing both sides of the coin, which we need, right? We need to be able to see in our blind spots. And, for me, I'm not great at not letting my leadership become relational, because I enjoy that, right? I enjoy my staff as my family, and they know that. They can call me. We have to get through the season with every one of them where they're afraid to disappoint me because they don't want to upset me, because we have a good relationship.
Right.
And I'll be like, listen, you're not going to disappoint me. You're going to mess up. You're going to do dumb things, and we'll get through them. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Most businesses fail because the leader of the business is afraid to make mistakes or to ask questions or to say, I don't know what I'm doing. And that's certain doom.
I think those resources are really important. You might not have it all in your head, but you got to know where to go to get them. You know what I mean? And also, if you find that you're the smartest person in the room, you probably need to get into a different room.
Yeah. Yeah. And business coaches are priceless. Somebody, I have mentors, and then I have coaches. And the difference is a mentor will walk through really difficult seasons with you, and teach you by experience. A coach will call out of you what's in there that you're not activating. And a coach, he's not there for your excuses, right? A coach is there to push you past your boundaries. And, so there's a difference between a mentor who will give you the easy kind of, hey, I love you, I'm going to come alongside of you, that was dumb, but you're still going to be fine. And a coach is like, knock it off. Recalibrate that. It doesn't work, fix it. And so I need both. And I think that's why an organization like yours is healthy for communities. Because I think if business owners knew that they could come there and be like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I am $70,000 in debt, and there's bills coming in every day, and I need to know what I'm doing. They could get matched with coaches. They could get matched with other businesses that model what they're doing. So that's one thing we did here. We went to churches. So we came in at about 100, 120 people. And in our first 3 years, we were at 400 or 500. So, a lot of churches will go to similar churches at 400 or 500 and be like, what are you guys doing? Well, we were going to 400 or 500 person churches when we were 100. And when we got to 400, I'm like, okay, where are the 1,000 person churches? Where are the 1,100 person churches? We need to know what they're doing because we're going to go where they are, right? There's a strong trend to show that we're headed to where they are. So you got to be ready to get there. So now we run about 600 in-house and about 200 online. So we're running about 800 and give or take every week. And we're definitely feeling that none of us have been here before.
Untreaded waters.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
What do you think really brought the the resurgence or surgence of people coming to your church? And I ask that because I see some churches really struggling. Some of the more traditional ones without the music and it's not as. I've attended some of your services here, and it's very unified in what you're doing, right? And you can just sense the energy and the the culture within what you're doing. And I think that a lot of traditional churches are dying and have died, and since transitioned into like community centers, for example, which is also a good thing. I think it's also doing serving a different purpose, right? But what do you think was really the main draw bringing people to your church?
I think it starts with service. Looking into the years before Pastor Jay, we weren't really in the community as much as we should have been. I look back at those times and we focused so much on pleasing the congregation that we had instead of finding a bigger congregation, right? Finding a bigger people to serve, right? And as soon as Pastor Jay got here, he was like, we have 4 trailer parks around us. Did we even talk to them? And everybody was like, nope, I haven't stepped foot in them. And it was like, all right, we're going to change that. And that's where we started. And I think that's what started it, because it gave Owego Naz a different name. Instead of being the church that doesn't talk to anybody, it was the church that steps out for people. They who steps in the gap for the people, for the less fortunate, right? And I think a huge part of that also came with what our church finances looked like. I think a huge part of it is we were being a lot more conservative with our finances before, and now we had the money and we were like, why are we not using this as much as we should? Why don't we go and serve pizza for an entire month, one day a week for a whole community, right? And just that's all we can do is love on them, right? But I think it starts with service. I think it really started with stepping out into the gap for people who need it. But yeah,
I think it helps. I didn't necessarily grow up in church. I grew up around church more so than in church, and I was great at identifying growing up all the things I didn't like about church. And then when I got called to ministry, I thought the Lord was kind of kidding. I was like, no, you're going to stop it. And my wife was like, no, I think you are. And I said, well, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it different. We were serving at a church of 800 or 900 at the time. And everything was great. I mean, I had a great position. I was a lead associate. I was having a great time. Our ministry was doing great. We were doing great. And the Lord was like, okay, it's time to go. And I was like, no, it's really nice here. And that was a town we grew up in. You know, it was a town that we raised our children in. And then I started getting the itch. Like, I wonder if I can actually do this. Like, do I actually have the ability to do this? So we took a church of like, I don't know, 25 or 30 in the middle of the woods. And we just started doing what we do. You know, we closed church every fifth Sunday. Well, we started every fourth Sunday. We just closed the church. And if you want to see us, we'll be downtown. This is where you can find us. And we'd be down serving food in Allentown. And people just started coming to join us. And we'd be, we're going to be at this, we're going to be at this clothing place, sorting clothes if you want to be there. And they're like, well, we're supposed to have church. And we're like, yeah, we're going to have it there. So people would show up. We'd sort all the clothes. I'd give like a devotional, maybe 15-minute sermon. We'd pray together. We'd pray for the business owners, and that would be church for that day. And people would go out to eat together. And I was like, this is cool. Mm-hmm. And they were like, this is weird. And some of the older people started struggling to go do the service projects. So they were like, hey, can we stay back and pray for you guys while you're out? And so we just started praying for specific things. Like, would somebody be touched at the place that you are serving to want to come learn more? Would they want to, give their life to Jesus? Would they stay during the devotionals? And those were the prayers that the older congregation was lifting up while we were out serving, and we started seeing it because God's very responsive to prayer. And people would be like, hey, what kind of church is this where you guys do this? And we're like, we're just, regular church, And the next week they'd show up, and it just started growing, and that grew really, really fast and got really big, and we outgrew our space. And my wife and I were like, there's something to this. Like, there's something to just being, if you come to the service here, I think you're going to hear probably not what you're used to. I just share kind of my life story, and I've been through a lot, and God's blessed me, brought me through a lot, and I just have fun. Like, I just think church is not supposed to be such a downer.
This
all the time.
rigid,
yeah,
process.
Yeah, like I don't care how people dress or how they talk or I don't need you to stop smoking to come to church. Like, I think if you get close to Jesus, you're going to want to do those things. Like, Jesus makes these changes in you that are right for you. And, as much as some denominations want you to believe, smoking cigarettes is not going to keep you out of heaven. I mean, you're going to smell like an ashtray, but you're not.
Right. You're going to need a few new lungs once you get up there.
You might get there quicker than the rest of us, but I don't think that's a qualification for salvation. But I do think that the closer you get to the Lord, the more you realize, well, hey, this is the life that God's given me, or this is the body that He's given me. I actually want to take care of it. Like, I actually want to make some changes. I was 360 pounds when I was like, and I'm up here preaching about living a good life. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like eating 50 ho-hos after service. I'm like banging down a quarter pounder and washing it down with a couple chocolate donuts. So I was like, that's probably not a great example, So I've lost about 120 pounds just remembering that God has a call for me, and I should try to preserve that as long as I can. So
congratulations with that, by the way.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been cool because people were like, oh my God, I didn't even know it was you. I was like, cool. Sneaking up on you.
It's always cool because I'll go back and look at like our old archives of like photos and videos that we took over the past 5 years, and seeing where he was 2 years ago and seeing him now. Dory and I will look at each other and be like, yeah, we got to change that slide because that's 120 pounds heavier, Jay, than it was now. So
yeah, I like to say I lost an 8th grader.
I think that circling back to I think your success largely and partly is probably some of the stuff you talked about. But when you're up there talking, you're not preaching at people. You're being relatable, right? And people kind of take more to that as opposed to being like, not saying all churches do this, talking at people, but you're making it relatable. You're telling stories, right? There's a real feel to it, and
I
it
think
sounds
most
genuine.
of the time I tell people I'm preaching to myself. like all these things that God gives me to share are usually things that, I continually need to work on in my life, right? Like I haven't arrived. I'm not any better off than anyone else when it comes to that. I just have a different call, so I have a responsibility. And, my responsibility then extends to JoJo and Tiffany and Aaron and and James and everybody who I work with, you know, it matters. So we've had a good time though.
Oh,
It's good. I think when I got serious about leadership development, that's when things changed for me. About 7 years ago, I really started saying, hey, I'm in this for the long haul, and I need to figure out, I need to be a good leader. And what does a good leader look like? What is my version of a good leader, and what's actually a good leader? And there are weak spots in my game. I know that, you know, I can hit a three, but I miss a left-handed layup, right? Like everybody has that in their life. So for me, you know, managing the operations of the church, I'm so busy out with people trying to visit, trying to launch the next initiative, trying to do the next thing that I can sometimes need reeled in and, you know, refocused. And I think it might have been John Maxwell who said, the key to ministry is to put your butt in the seat and get the work done. And I think that's true in any job, right? It's doing the things you don't want to do, just getting them done, you know? And it's funny because I hang out with a lot of entrepreneurs, like people. I'm so interested by people who have the guts to step out and like launch a business and like do something crazy like that. And, you know, talking to them, a lot of them struggle with their books, taxes, all these things, and they just get so far behind in the first couple of years. And it's because none of that's fun, right? Selling the product's fun. Meeting the people's fun. Doing the grunt work is not fun.
It's true.
You watch businesses just like that could have been great because the leaders are good. They're good leaders. They never want to be great leaders. And I think it's on you to go from good to great. I think that's one of the switches we made here. I think when we got here, a lot of people were okay with good. And my wife is not. She's like, good is for a candy bar, you know, Mr. Good Bar. But her standard that she pushes in she's our event coordinator. So she manages all the events here. And her standard is excellence. You know, that way when you end up awesome, well, you were almost excellent. I have to wheel her back a little bit and go, no, awesome's really good. So.
That's awesome.
I have another question.
Go for it.
So you talked about being out in the community, serving, right? Just getting out there. And, you know, this church here is in Owego, New York, and it's spread out. You have people coming from New York Valley, Candor, Endicott. I mean, those are just some of the places. Sayre, right? Pennsylvania. So what is your hope now that you've been out in the community and these people are coming and trying out the Owego Naz Church? What's your hope that they want to come back?
You want to answer that one? I'm thinking.
My hope that they want to come back. I hope they feel seen here and valued, and then become part of the culture. And then I can beat them up a little bit, right? Once you become part of the culture, I've really been pushing us to have a culture of, look, you don't fish, you don't eat. Like God called us to be fishermen of men, right? Like get out there and do what God's called you to do, or you're not going to feel the blessing that you're searching for. You're not going to see it till you start doing it. And I hope they come back enough that they go, I want to try it. I want to do it. Because the first time you do it, the first time you like share your faith, the first time you bring somebody to church and you watch God change their life, and it's like, I didn't change their life. God changed their life. But I was part of the bigger piece, right? I was the transportation too, or I was the one who said, hey, you really got to come try this. And when that happens, it's kind of cool. Like
Be the water, the planter, the fertilizer.
Yeah, all those things. I mean, that's our hope, I think, is that they experience transformation. I don't want people just to, come and I want them to have a great time.
Yeah.
But I want them to feel home.
I mean, because I think a huge part of what church is family, right? And I think above all, we want to feel like a big family because that's what we are. We're God's children, right? Making us God's family, right? And I think that's a huge part of what we try to press into people, being like, even if you don't have a family, you do. Whether you see it or you don't, you do. It's here. It's with Jesus. It's in community with together. It's in Bible studies. It's in small groups. I think we're just trying to build a culture of like Jesus is the thing that's going to keep you going.
We tell people if you come 3 times, you'll stay.
Is that it? The 3 times?
That's what we believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because we think if the first time you come, you're going to be nervous. Probably not going to talk to anybody. You're going to kind of try to stay to yourself a little bit and fill it out. The second time you come, you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable. You'll kind of understand the flow of things. The third time, God's going to speak to you. And we just believe that. We believe that through the worship, through the people he puts in. You don't accidentally bump into people. You will. The cool thing about having 600-700 people in-house is you're probably going to see somebody you know. Like, you're probably going to see somebody you recognize. And we think that just opens the gate for the Lord to say, you're home. This is where you need to be. And then you'll want to become part of it.
For sure.
But I think we're low pressure on that, which is good. Because some people come to church to heal, right? They're in a down season. Maybe they've been hurt by another church. Maybe they've been... we have a lot of people that come here that left other churches not on great terms. Like it didn't go well for them. The church dropped the ball, and the church does that a lot, surprisingly. And we've had some people leave, and when someone leaves, all I ask is like, you come see me before you leave, because I want to pray for you, and I want to encourage you. Like if this is not the place for you, awesome, that's okay. God's moving you somewhere, that's okay. I'm not like a jealous kind of, you're not my people, you're God's people. So if I'm not the shepherd you need, I want you to find the one you need. So I always want to encourage people, and then ask them. I ask people when they tell me they're leaving, like, okay, what could we have done better? Help us be better to the next family that comes that we might not see the blind spot in.
Right.
And most of the time it's pretty positive if people will come in.
Right. I think a huge balance that we have found that a lot of churches struggle with is that idea of being urgent compared to being lackadaisical. So if somebody's coming in new, you don't want to pressure them to be like, oh, we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. Like, because then that's a little bit
up if you're new.
Right. That's like a little cultish, right? Like that's a little, I don't know. I personally wouldn't stand up if somebody said that from stage. I'd be like, heck no, I don't want people to talk to me, right?
All the new people can lead us on this next song.
Right. Right. Like I think there are a lot of churches that do that kind of stuff and they struggle because of it. And they're like, why don't we get new people? Because you're freaking them out, man. Right. But you don't want to be too lackadaisical because you don't want to act like they're not there. Right. You don't, because then they feel unseen. They feel forgotten. Oh, well, there's a cool story of one of our congregants, Ken Smith's wife, Sandy. When she first came here, she was on the drive here and she goes, if one person doesn't say hi to me, I'm done with church. And she came in and what'd she say? Like 6 people all said hi to her and how are you doing? And how can we help you?
Some people sat with her.
Right. Some people sat with her. Like it's those types of things that keep people coming back for more, keep coming back to see what's different about this place that's different than other places, or what do they do right here that other churches maybe don't do right, or what do they do wrong here that other churches do right. But I think that's just a huge thing of what we keep doing is just keep trying to find a balance of comfortability for people without pushing too hard and without being too lazy at it too. So
I think part of it too is our culture. Like our staff culture has gotten really good, right? Like I tell these guys, you're not perfect. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to mess up. Just own it, right? Like, dude, I dropped the ball. Like, my bad. I should have been better for you, and I wasn't. Let me just apologize. Let me pray with you, And we're going to make mistakes. We're not infallible, but we should never make the mistake of not seeing someone. Right? Like people should be seen, like, hey, I see you. I may not be able to fix your problem. I may not be able to meet it immediately. My biggest fear is becoming the pastor that people can't see. You go to some big churches and it's like, oh, the pastor will see you in 6 weeks. I'm like, no, we'll find a time. Like, I may have to meet you at 10 o'clock at night, but if you're down, I'm down. And I think the accessibility to the pastor is important for some people. Some people are like, I just want to know who you are. you know? And I'm like, sure. Yeah. And you know, I don't know if that's a normal thing, but I'm very like, hey, if you got questions, listen, you hang out in the community, you're going to hear all kinds of crazy stories about me. You know, I'm a flamethrower from my eyeballs and, you know, witchcraft and all kinds of stuff. But, you know, it's all right. Like, I'm okay with that because people are afraid of what they don't understand. And they have to find a reason why you're successful in an area that's not traditionally been successful. So it has to be that you're doing something wrong or sneaky or backwards. And I'm like, I don't actually have time to do anything sneaky. Like, come on over. You know, I try to be an open book and just sit down with people, address rumors, address crazy things that have been said. And then I just challenge them, like, spend some time with me. Like, if you really think I'm a bad guy, great, spend some time with me. And when you can, you know, you can go back and we'll go on the radio together and you can tell them all the things you found out. Like, there's just nothing. I really am a pretty open book, and my password is the same on all my computers, you know, and the staff knows them all. So, like,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
yeah,
6.
it's not hard. It's not hard. But it's got to be something I can remember, right? So,
I remember that was my password on my old work cell phone, and I had to get it reset from the IT person. And I told her what it was out loud, and everybody turned their head like, this lady's going to rip your head off.
well, my IT guy tells me every time that's the worst password ever. Dude. Like, you know,
I'm like, it's all right. We got 2-factor.
What was my first
I
dog's
just tell them
name?
people are going to be so aggravated. If they hack my bank account, they're going to be really angry. If they hack my social security number, they're going to be like, wow, this guy's got problems.
Well, do you have a funny question
Do I have a funny question?
before we get into how everybody can come and visit Nazerene and check them out? I do have to say, one of the greatest joys that I experienced in coming back to the Owego Naz, because I used to come here 16 years ago when Ravi was a baby. But coming back, the coolest thing with you guys, new leadership taking over, is how, JoJo, you touched on that we're a family under God. So never have I ever experienced coming back and seeing so many different denominations that split us apart before and now came all under one roof. That is by far the most. I was just like thinking that there was going to be, like, Jesus was returning because there was going to be this great revival, because I've never seen it before. We've all been so concerned about our rules of this denomination or that denomination. I've never seen so many come under one roof, and that has been the most beautiful, coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it is fun. We have a lot of Catholics here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very fun.
It's really interesting to see them on like some of their first Sundays, and they're like, "What's going on?"
I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, communion blows their mind.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I got
Are
my
you touching the bread?"
Yeah. I got my communion, and then I didn't do the confirmation. I don't know what happened. But I didn't go to church for a while, and then I went over in England, and my grandmother-in-law, who's super Catholic, she's like, you cannot accept the hosts because you haven't been to church. She's like, you can get blessed by the Father, but you can't.
Don't you be
Don't you dare.
Don't you
Don't
snack
you
pack.
dare.
Don't you snack pack it.
She's like, I'll be breaking your knuckles. I'm like, all right. So,
Jesus knows, and so do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cool part about. I'm a Nazarene pastor. If people don't know what that is, it's okay because a lot of people don't know even once they become one. But we're a holiness denomination. We came out of the holiness movement. We're old. We started in the 1900s. We're the youngest organized denomination in America. At least we were when I got ordained 20 years ago. I don't know. There might be another one by now.
Could be a younger one.
But we do believe in. That God died. God sent His Son to die for you so that you could be set free from your sin, and that should be your objective, right? Living free from sin. And I think one of the things that people appreciate is that I just tell look, you come here, you're going to hear my story. You're going to hear like I am not who I used to be, but I'm not who I want to be all the time, and I'm working on it, and I'm pursuing that in my life, and I want you to pursue it in yours, and we'll do it together. And we all meet in the same place and work hard for the same objective and glorify the kingdom, and God does the rest. I mean, He does such cool things, and we've seen really cool things here. If you want to know what the Nazerene Church is like, you can go online, churcheson.com, check us out, or YouTube, check us out on there.
Well, we go Church of the Nazarene.
And we go Church of the Nazarene. We don't speak in tongues. We put the snakes away. We stop bringing those.
We
out.
don't have any battle horns.
Yeah, no horns, no shofars, no swinging of ropes or flags or swords. No swords. We kind of keep it calm. We do raise our hands in worship, which I think is neat to watch. You can identify Baptists real quick. They're like looking at their neighbor.
Is it half up?
They'll look at like creeping up, and then they're looking at their neighbor like, "Is this okay?"
They're unsure if they want to raise their hand and answer the question.
Yeah, I'm like, "Get it up there." No, we do have a good time though.
Awesome.
I think takeaways here that we've heard. This is a successful organization. You're successful, and a lot of that comes from the leadership and the culture that you guys foster here. And you've mentioned a lot of good things about that I've taken in just from hearing. There are good things that you do as a leader, and I've witnessed bad leadership and I've witnessed bad culture in the workplace. And when you have good culture and you take care of your people and everyone's in sync, it flows down to the people you're serving. And so thanks for sharing those things. I think that the listeners can definitely reflect on that and don't be afraid to reflect, because even if you are a leader in business, you're not always right. And it's okay to take a little bit of, self-coaching and mentorship.
Yeah. And we have a fun closed-ended question for both of you, so it's not too elaborate. JoJo, can you wiggle your ears?
No, I cannot.
Can you try? No, I'm just kidding.
It's really unfortunate. I always had buddies in school that would always do it, and they can do like the one eyebrow up thing. I can't do that either. I believe I have less facial muscles than anybody else that I was born with, but
No, I can't do it either.
I can't do it.
Pastor Jay, you can't wiggle your ears?
No. I'm gonna work on it.
Dude.
now, but not
Dude.
in front
Can
of
either of you?
No.
No.
I have a brother that can.
Do you guys have a secret talent?
A secret talent?
Secret powers?
I don't know.
No, we do these tests in the church to see what your giftings are, and what style and manner you kind of lead in. And mine is woo, which is winning others over. So my wife says I have a secret power of like people just want to share like the most crazy off the wall things with me, and I'm like, oh, okay.
That's one you could keep to yourself.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me everything. But real quick before we leave, I did want to say this because I wanted to say it earlier. This is the number one key to leadership. I do this every week, and sometimes the answer is not what I want it to be. I ask myself every Thursday afternoon, am I living transparent? Like, am I living vulnerable? Like, is there anything in my life that people would question and cause people to question my leadership? And if there is, I need to take care of it. Right? And if there's not, okay, good week. Right? And I think that's an important question for leaders to ask themselves. Like, am I leading the way I would want to be led? And if you're not, you got to check that out.
Yeah. I think vulnerability and transparency are absolute superpowers. I really do.
Yeah.
Not everybody is able. Not everybody,
It's really uncomfortable at first.
It is, but once you get used to it, it's easy, right, Pastor Jay?
But that's also how the Bible tells us to be, right? It tells us to share our burdens with other people, to be honest with ourselves and honest to God. Because if we're not honest to ourselves, how are we supposed to be honest with God, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Go get them.
Awesome. Thanks you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. This was fun.
Awesome.